Just say it, man. Don't make me ask 20 questions.
What is the point?
Get to the point.
Just say it already.
Welcome to the Podcram. Lend your ear to Jocko Willink on the Jordan Peterson Podcast number 420, where he describes the leadership value of listening and the strategy of decentralized command.
Somebody, asked me, well, how do I get people to listen to me? So I'm in a leadership position. How do I get people to listen to me?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, if you want people to listen to you, you need to listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's the opposite of what people think.
You bet.
It's not talk louder if I want you to listen to me. If I want you to listen to me, I need to listen to you. And that kind of opened up this whole idea for me. There's a whole category of these things, right? If I want you to respect me, what do I have to do? I have to treat you with respect.
Yeah.
If I want to have influence over you, what do I have to do? I actually have to allow you to influence me. Mm-hmm. I have to open my mind up and allow you to influence me. If I just stick with my own ideas, you close your mind as well. If I have a closed mind, you're going to close my mind. If I want you to care about me, what do I have to do? I have to care about you. Mm-hmm. And by the way, in my opinion, these are the components of a relationship. Right?
Yes, definitely.
If we listen to each other, if we don't listen to each other, we don't have a relationship.
Yeah.
If we don't respect each other, we don't have a relationship. If we're not influenced by each other, we don't have a relationship. So if we don't care about each other, obviously we don't have a relationship. So when you want to build a relationship, what do you have to do? You have to listen to the other person. This is why when I was in the military, I never gave orders. I never had to say, hey, everyone, here's what we're doing this. I never had to say that.
Yeah.
Never had to say that. The caveat is we're in a gunfight and, I need you to take your element over that building.
Yeah.
And even then, it's a strong suggestion because I might say, Jordan, take that building over there. You might look back at me and say, negative.
Mm-hmm.
I don't say, hey, shut up, you insubordinate bastard.
Right.
No, the reason you're saying that to me is because there's something that you see that I don't see.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing, trust, right?
Yeah.
How do I get you to trust me? I have to put trust in you. That idea of what you talked about, imposing my will on other people. You can get away with that for a little while.
Yeah,
if I'm the boss and I can fire you or I can give you punitive measures because you didn't follow my orders, that'll work for a little while, but it's not a long-term solution. And eventually you're going to have a mutiny on your hands and you're probably going to end up, they actually had a name for it in the Vietnam War, right? We would frag you. You're my officer. You're imposing your will on me. You're not listening to what we have to say. Cool. We're going to frag you. We're going to get into a gunfight at night. You're going to get shot by one of us. They had a name for it. What I actually want as a leader is I don't have to do anything because you've stepped up and now you're running everything and I can look up and out and move on.
The advantage to you is if you build those people underneath you who are competent in their own realm, you can keep moving your ambition higher and higher because you build this platform beneath you that's composed of competent people, and all that happens is your expansive opportunity increases. So it's very useful as well to give, not to give them something that's important to do, but to encourage them to take on something important to do, and then to back the hell off so they can do it, right?
No better tool in leadership than giving people ownership of what they're doing. The classic in the military is I don't say, hey, Jordan, here's the mission. Here's the people I want you to take. Here's the weapons I want you to use. Here's the vehicles I want you to bring. Here's how I want you to assault the building. Yeah. Here's the time I want you to hit the target. Here's the time I want you to, the route I want you to take to get back here. Yeah. And here's what time I want you to do the debrief. Yeah. So take ownership of that and go execute. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
What we want to do in a decentralized organization is say, hey, Jordan, here's the target you got to hit tonight.
Right. Yeah.
Go figure out how you want to do it.
Yeah.
And if you're a good leader, then you turn to your team and you say, hey guys, here's the target we got to hit tonight.
How can we do
How
this?
do you think we should do this?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you have ownership over this. And so we move forward down the path, not by me dictating to you and not by you protesting and calling me an idiot, but by us having a relationship and working together to figure out the best solution to the problem.
It's a lot easier to lead people in a direction that they want to go. And so if you listen to people, now Jimmy Carr told me the same thing about him preparing his comedy routines before he goes on tour. So, and comedians do this generally, and they all know this, although Carr was very good at elucidating it. You go to 50 small clubs. You try out your idiot material. 90% of it falls flat, but 10% of it makes people laugh. Well, if you're listening, you can tell when they laugh, and you just put a check by that joke. And after you've done 30 shows and you now have 2 hours of material that makes people laugh, even if you're not that damn funny to begin with, if you pay enough attention to what the audience responds to, you can aggregate the material and you can go on the road. And that's really, as far as I can tell, that really is the essence of leadership per se. It's certainly the essence of political leadership.
Yeah.
It's the free market equivalent in the military. If there's 1,000 people, and some of them are troops that are on the front line, some of those people on the front line are going to have much more accurate information than the people who are at a distance. You want to open yourself up to being informed by people who have skin in the game and have their eyes open in the immediate circumstance. I've seen this with great political leaders. Like the great political leaders that I've met are very, very good at listening.
And it's the same thing with the Iraqis. We'd say, hey, we're going on an operation tonight. We've got an operation tonight. Can you bring 30 guys tonight to conduct this operation? And they would tell you 100% of the time, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And they'd show up with 9, or they'd show up with 6, or they'd show up with 48. And because it's inshallah, right? It's God willing, we'll have 30 people. If that's the way it's supposed to be, that's the way it'll be. And instead of us going, hey, this isn't the way we do it, we had to say, okay, well, how do they operate? What do they think like? How can we incorporate their perspective on things into our culture? And how can we merge these cultures together so that we can communicate with them in an effective way? So we go, oh, okay, cool. How many people do you think you can bring tonight? And they're going to give you a better answer than if you say, can you bring this many? It's a little nuance in the way that you interact with them.
Right.
But if you
that might have even been a politeness norm, because their response to you might have been, well, the polite thing is to tell the person who's asking what they want to hear.
Yep.
Right. And that is different than saying, well, how many people do you think you could bring?
Totally different.
Yeah.
So if I had a fixed mindset and a closed mind, it would have been saying, this is the military. A platoon is 40 guys. You need to bring a platoon tonight. If you don't bring a platoon, the world explodes, right? Nothing's going to work. But the open-minded attitude is like, oh, they think a little bit different than we do. Hey, how many people can you bring? And all of a sudden, okay, you can bring 12. Okay, then we'll bring 18 and we'll have 30 and we'll be able to get this thing done. We'll make it happen.
Thanks for listening to this installment of The Podcram. I hope it contains something useful for you. If you enjoy these selections and are curious about the curator's own thoughts, you can check out my other podcast, Psychic Lube, where I share concise concepts meant to grease the intellectual gears and help get your creative juices flowing. Each episode is an ongoing collaborative project that welcomes listeners to expand or rebut its points by email or comment, the most interesting of which get incorporated through periodic re-recordings. As always, if you're intrigued by today's content, I encourage you to go listen to the full podcast in its original form directly from its creators so that their sponsors keep paying them to make stuff for us and nobody feels compelled to sue me for copyright infringement. Now, get off your phone and go do smart stuff. Have a productive day.